Dave Trabert, Kansas Policy Institute, is here on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. We are always streaming on the KCMO Talk Radio app. Dave, good morning. Great to have you here. Overland Park approving a 6% budget increase year over year last night, but you're saying it's even more than that. Why?
Well, good morning, Pete. Thanks for having me. When you look at budgets, comparing one budget to another doesn't tell you anything, and that's by design with what most governments do. I'll give you an example. Let's say you budget $100 million this year, and you only spend $90 million. And then next year you budget $100 million again, and they would say there's no increase, when in reality there's more than a 10% increase because you're planning to go from spending $90 million to $100 million.
Ooh, that's good.
That's the shell game that Overland Park is playing. Governments budget extra because once you publish a budget, you're legally not allowed to spend more. So they always budget extra. And so that's another reason why you can't compare one budget to another when you know that they're not reality. But the fact here is they are budgeting to spend 13% more than they say they're going to spend this year.
Wow. Okay, that's great information. Not good, but great information from you. So what are they sitting on then when it comes to the mountain of money and cash that they're just hanging on to that's technically the taxpayer money?
Well, of course, cash they're holding on to is money they collected from taxpayers in prior years but didn't spend. And they have over $100 million left over from prior years. It's far more than is reasonably necessary. But again, they play shell games with that. They justify holding on to over $100 million in cash because by forecasting that they're going to run deficits the next 5 years. Now that doesn't happen, but you put together a bogus forecast to make it look like, see, we have to keep your money. Sorry. You could go through it. It would, make your hair hurt looking at all the numbers. But the fact is they've been running surpluses every year. That's how you get to $100 million in cash. And it's going to continue to go. But they say, no, we need to hold on to it because they just want as much money as they can get.
Wow, that's unbelievable. I saw the statement here from the city manager in Overland Park. Name is Lori Luther, and she says on the budget that got approved last night, this includes long-term planning to ensure we are flexible and can continue to deliver services in weaker economies, basically suggesting there may be an economic downturn, so we've got to take more of your money to prepare for our economic downturn. And then saying, this was unbelievable, city leaders plan year-round to ensure the organization has the resources it needs to meet high level of service Overland Park residents expect. So basically, it's the residents' fault we have to raise your taxes more because you expect too much out of us, Dave. Is this not the most insulting statement you've ever seen?
Well, it's right up there with all the ones they've issued in the past. Same thing with Johnson County government. They make these kinds of claims. Basically, what they're saying is you have to cut back and pay higher taxes so we don't have to sharpen our pencils.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. That's a great point. So Dave, we talk about this with Johnson County. Now we're talking about it in respect to Overland Park. Complaining about it is one thing, but there were dozens of residents there last night. They didn't care. They passed their budget. What can realistically be done here, if anything?
Well, the most realistic thing to do is for the state legislature to step in. Cities and counties are creatures of the state. The legislature creates them, and the legislature can and should provide some parameters. So one thing they need to do is pass a constitutional amendment that limits the taxable assessed value growth each year to something like 3, 4, 5%. No more double-digit property tax increases for a homeowner just because the county says your home is worth more. The other thing they need to do is put a cap on the amount of increase they can collect without some form of voter input. So, for example, you could put a protest petition in place. So they passed this 13% spending increase. You could go back and have a protest petition that could make it easy for residents to sign, and you get enough signatures, and it stops the increase. There's other ways to do it. You could require, it wouldn't make much difference in a city like Overland Park if you even required a supermajority vote, like 80%. With the council as large as it is, they could probably pass that. So a protest petition or even a direct vote of the public, you want to raise taxes more than, say, 4%, the voters have to approve it. The legislature has to step in and do these things because while revenue neutral is working in a lot of the state, in northeastern Kansas, it's not.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of the elected officials. I mean, the budget they approved is identical to the budget they proposed. City council doesn't look at anything. They talk about city leaders examining. No, they don't. They rubber stamp. Whatever the city said, the staff says they want, and it's not the staff's fault because the elected officials have conditioned them over the years, we're going to approve whatever you propose. So the legislature has to step in and save taxpayers.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. Well, we'll see. It's going to be tough in an election year to get anything, it seems like, of substance done in Topeka. But if there's a year for it, next year would be a great start. And there's a lot of people that could benefit politically from it with this governor's race set to heat up as we flip the calendar to 2026, Dave. So that's going to be really interesting to watch and follow. And we're always grateful for your insight on this, my friend. Good stuff.
Well, thanks, Pete. It's good to be here. I appreciate you having us.
All right. Well done there. Dave Trabert on KCMO Talk Radio, 95.7 FM, always streaming on that KCMO Talk Radio app as well. Well done out of him, as always.